starting with the news that we heard earlier in the programme that Shell has announced that it is pulling out of the Cambo oil field project, saying that the economic case for investment was just not strong enough. Campaigners have called it a death blow for Cambo as the project continues to lose support. So is this the clearest sign yet that fossil fuels are falling out of favour? Come first to you, Dame Julia. 30% of the investment has been pulled out. 70% of it, though, is still there. Is it really a death blow?
Well, I'm hoping it is. I'm hoping other people will see that Shell have done the economic analysis, and that if we're on a path to no more than 2 degrees and ideally 1.5 degrees, this just won't be profitable. And really, once we see industry recognizing these things aren't going to be profitable as we move to net zero, then that's brilliant, because that's what will really drive change.
And Asad, Shell says that this is an economic decision. Do you think it is, or do you think it's political?
Well, firstly, I think it's a huge victory for people power. Without the campaigners, we would not be in a situation where Shell was pulling out of this Cambo oil field. So, of course, the fight isn't won. The UK government can still approve the oil field, along with the countless others that are in the pipeline. But it does give us hope, and it shows us that when citizens work together collectively and put pressure on both these dirty polluting companies as well as our government, we can begin to see an end to fossil fuels. Because we've got to remember what the climate scientists have told us. We can have no new oil, gas or coal if we want to meet the 1.5 degree threshold, which is critical to prevent the runaway catastrophic climate change that we are beginning to see all over the world.
Yeah, that was the IEA report, wasn't it? And Dame Julia, to you, if we accept that it is an economic decision from Shell, what does it tell us about the intentions of these big fossil fuel companies? Is it the start of a big shift?
Well, I hope that's what it's showing us, because of course we do need the skills of these companies. We need their skills for hydrogen production. We need their skills for carbon capture and storage. So if this is really the start of these high carbon energy companies recognizing that that the economics have changed and they've got to become green, low carbon energy companies, then that's really brilliant. And that says it doesn't matter whether governments say we should support this or not. If the companies have recognized the economics have changed and that changes their businesses, then the change will happen.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch, isn't it? And Asad, of course, all of these big projects, very capital intensive, they all need a lot of money. And what we learnt in Glasgow at COP26 is that $130 trillion worth assets under management committed to net zero. But that's only 40% of the world's asset under management. So 60% of those assets are still happy, as far as we understand, to invest in fossil fuel projects.
Absolutely, and they're continuing to invest, and the irony being that some of those who are claiming that they're going to be investing in renewable or clean energy are at the same time pouring billions and billions into dirty energy. But look, the economic case. One of the ways to change that economic case, of course, is fixing our tax system. The UK has got a very generous tax system to dirty energy companies. Companies like Shell, for example, paid no tax last year in the UK. We know that governments are handing over something like $11 million per minute to dirty energy companies in subsidies. We're in trade deals like the Energy Treaty Charter, which locks us into decades of fossil fuels and even has this thing called corporate courts, investor state dispute settlement courts, which allows companies to sue governments if they take actions that threaten their profits. These are all the enabling systems that governments allow and create, which allow these fossil fuel companies to operate. I mean, it's in a ridiculous situation at the moment where the Netherlands, the Dutch government, is being sued for billions because their government has planned to phase out coal-powered power stations. And it's estimated that some of these polluting companies are threatening to sue governments for up to $9 trillion in the coming years. So really, it's government regulation and government intervention